Close your eyes and picture the most famous alleyway in history. It is dark. It is raining. A man and a woman are walking with their young son. You know what happens next. You have seen it 1,000 times. 2 gunshots, pearls hitting the wet pavement, a scream that creates a superhero. But what if we pressed rewind? What if the gunman missed? What if Thomas Wayne fought him off? What if the police arrived 10 seconds earlier? If Bruce Wayne's parents never died, you might think the story has a happy ending. You might think Gotham City becomes a paradise. But you would be wrong. If the Waynes survive, the Batman never rises. And without the Bat, the consequences are more terrifying than you can imagine. To understand this alternate reality, we have to understand the engine that drives the story. Bruce Wayne is not defined by his money or his gadgets. He is defined by his trauma. That one night in Crime Alley is the fuel for everything he does. It is the reason he trained his body to perfection. It is the reason he studied every science and martial art. Without that trauma, the engine never starts. In this new timeline, young Bruce Wayne leaves the theater holding his parents' hands. They go home to Wayne Manor. Alfred serves them hot chocolate. The police never come. There is no funeral. Bruce grows up happy. He is a normal child. He goes to private schools, he plays with friends, and he sleeps soundly at night. He doesn't have nightmares about bats. He doesn't swear a vow by candlelight to fight crime. Instead of traveling the world to learn how to fight, he likely follows in his father's footsteps. Thomas Wayne was a brilliant surgeon and a philanthropist. Bruce would probably go to medical school. Imagine Dr. Bruce Wayne, a handsome, wealthy surgeon who saves lives in the operating room during the day and attends fancy galas at night. He marries a nice woman, maybe Julie Madison, his college sweetheart. He has children. He is a good man. He is a happy man. But while Bruce Wayne is happy, his city is dying. Let's look at Gotham City. In our timeline, Batman is the immune system of Gotham. He attacks the virus of crime. Without him, the virus spreads differently. You might think, well, the police can handle it. But the Gotham City Police Department was historically corrupt. Without Batman to scare them straight or work with Commissioner Gordon, the corruption runs deep. The Falcone and Maroni crime families would never lose their grip on the city. In the normal timeline, Batman embarrassed these mobsters. He hung them from streetlights and destroyed their operations. Without Batman, the mob becomes the legitimate government. Carmine Falcone wouldn't just be a gangster. He would be the man who decides who becomes mayor. The corruption wouldn't be violent and chaotic. It would be quiet and permanent. Organized crime would become legalized business. And what about the Wayne family? Thomas and Martha Wayne were good people, but they were just people. They would try to fix the city with charity and hospitals. But money cannot stop a bullet. In this reality, the Waynes likely become targets for the mob eventually, or they are simply forced to play the game. To build their hospitals, they have to pay the mob. The Wayne Foundation becomes just another tool for the corrupt city council. Bruce Wayne, the surgeon, lives in a bubble. He thinks his charity checks are helping, but he is blind to the true darkness rotting the streets. Now, we have to talk about the villains. This is where the butterfly effect gets truly crazy. The most famous villain in comic book history is the Joker. But ask yourself, who is the Joker without Batman? Most origin stories tell us that the Joker was a criminal named the Red Hood, who fell into a vat of chemicals because he was running away from Batman. If there is no Batman to chase him, he never falls into the acid. In this timeline, the Joker doesn't exist. Instead, there is just a man. Maybe he is a failed comedian struggling to pay rent. Maybe he is a low-level gangster who gets arrested for robbery and spends a few years in jail. He never dyes his hair green. He never carves a smile onto his face. He is just a sad, angry nobody. This sounds like a good thing, right? No Joker means no massacres, no laughing gas, no chaos. But wait, what about the other villains? Take Harvey Dent. In our timeline, he becomes Two-Face because a mobster throws acid on him during a trial. But without Batman inspiring the legal system to be bolder, Harvey Dent might never challenge the mob so aggressively. He might just become a corrupt politician like everyone else. He stays handsome, but he loses his soul. Then there is the Riddler. Edward Nygma is a genius who wants to prove he is smarter than everyone else. In our world, he fights Batman because Batman is the only one smart enough to challenge him. Without Batman, the Riddler gets bored.
He probably becomes a high-tech corporate criminal, stealing millions from banks without anyone ever catching him.
He doesn't leave riddles because there is no detective to solve them. He just wins. The colorful, crazy supervillains don't exist. But the evil is still there. It is just boring, corporate, and untouchable. The saddest story in this timeline belongs to a young boy named Dick Grayson. In every universe, the Flying Graysons perform at Haley's Circus. In every universe, a gangster tries to extort money from the circus owner. And in every universe, the ropes are cut and Dick's parents fall to their deaths. In our world, Bruce Wayne was in the audience. He saw himself in that crying boy. He adopted Dick Grayson and trained him to become Robin. He gave the boy a purpose and a family. But in this timeline, Dr. Bruce Wayne might be in the audience, but he doesn't have the mindset of a warrior. He might feel sad for the kid. He might even donate money to the orphanage where Dick is sent. But he doesn't adopt him. So what happens to Dick Grayson? He goes into the foster care system of Gotham, a system that is broken and cruel. He is angry. He wants revenge on the man who killed his parents. But he has no training. He has no money. There is a terrifying theory about this. There is a secret society in Gotham called the Court of Owls. They kidnap circus performers because they are athletic and agile. They turn them into assassins called Talons. Without Bruce Wayne to save him, Dick Grayson is the perfect recruit for the Court of Owls. They would take that angry, grieving boy and freeze his emotions. They would train him to be a killer. The hero we know as Nightwing would instead become Gotham's deadliest assassin, killing politicians and threats to the court. And he would never even know that he could have been a hero. This leads us to the biggest threat of all, the Court of Owls. For those who don't know, the Court is a secret society of the rich and powerful who have ruled Gotham for centuries. They wear white owl masks and hide in the shadows. There is an old nursery rhyme in Gotham. Beware the Court of Owls that watches all the time. In the main timeline, Batman discovers them. He fights them. He exposes their existence and stops their plans to take total control. But in a world without Batman, the Court of Owls wins. They win completely. Dr. Bruce Wayne is wealthy and influential. The court would definitely watch him. In fact, they would probably try to recruit him. They would invite Thomas and Bruce Wayne to their secret meetings. If the Waynes refused to join, the court would have them killed, quietly. If they joined, the Waynes would become part of the evil ruling class. Imagine a Gotham where the rich feast in high towers, while the poor starve in the streets. And anyone who complains is silenced by an invisible assassin. There is no symbol of hope in the sky, no bat signal, just the eyes of the owl, watching everything. You might be thinking, okay, Gotham is corrupt, but the rest of the world is fine, right? Superman and Wonder Woman are still out there. This is where things get truly dangerous. While the Court of Owls feasts on the carcass of Gotham, a far older eye turns its gaze toward the city. Ra's al Ghul, the head of the demon. In our timeline, he hesitated to destroy Gotham because of one man. He respected the detective. He saw Bruce Wayne as a worthy heir. But here, he sees only a rich socialite. To Ra's, this Gotham is simply a cancer, a city of corruption with no savior. So he passes judgment. The purge begins not with a war, but with a whisper. Without the Batman to stand in his way, the League of Shadows strikes unopposed. The fear toxin floods the Narrows, but this time, there is no Batmobile to jump the rooftops. There is no antidote being synthesized in the cave beneath the manor. The cave is just a cave. The police, owned by the Falcone family, lock the bridges. They let the poor tear each other apart. Gotham falls in a single night. And Dr. Bruce Wayne? He likely dies in the chaos, trying to save patients in a hospital that collapses. But the ripples don't stop there. Consider the Justice League. Superman has the power. Wonder Woman has the spirit. But Batman? Batman was the mind. He was the contingency plan, the one human who kept the gods in check. Without him, the League is a hammer without a hand. When an intellectual threat like Darkseid arrives, they charge in blind. They lack the strategic genius to outthink a god. In this timeline, the invasion isn't halted by a tactical sacrifice. It succeeds. The earth falls silent. All because a boy in an alley was spared his tragedy. So we return to the alley, to the pearls scattering on the wet pavement like fallen stars. We look at this moment and see only horror. We see a child's world ending in a flash of gunpowder. But physics teaches us a hard truth. Diamonds are only formed under crushing pressure. That tragedy was the fire. It burned away the boy's fear and forged him into something unbreakable. The universe offers a cruel trade, the happiness of one family, or the safety of the entire world. Thomas and Martha Wayne didn't just die for a robbery. In the grand design of destiny, they died so that Gotham could survive. Their sacrifice created the antibody, the immune system that protects us from the monsters in the dark. So let the pearls fall, accept the pain, because the world doesn't need another wealthy surgeon. It needs the Batman.